Hi everybody, it's Barbie at Nellie and Ruth Designs, and today I'm going to try to work on a couple little postcards. I recently purchased a journal from a gal on Instagram, and when I got it home, it really wasn't my taste, but I liked the way it was set up with the rings. I went to Italy in April, and she had some beautiful vintage postcards from Italy in it. And I guess that's really why I bought it, because I really liked the postcards. So this is a journal that I'm making my own. I've never made a journal before, so this is all new to me. And for those that are watching along, I'm sure you have. But at any rate, she had put some very pretty postcards in here that didn't relate to Italy, but I thought that they were quite lovely. I want to still incorporate them in. But I'd like to put them in a page that I'll be creating where I can tuck them in. I don't want to have the punched holes in these. So that's what I'm going to work on today. This is the journal. I recreated, or I redesigned the outside. I do like the way that she originally made the closure with the ribbons. I do love ribbons and bows. So what I did was I just created, I had an old English garden book that I cut up. I never looked at it. It was quite old. And I do have a small ephemera pack on my Nellie and Ruth Designs shop over at Etsy. You might want to take a look at that. And I love sewing on the paper. So what I did was as you can see, I just covered up what she had originally put on here. I added the pearls just to give it a little more decor, decorative decor. And on the back, I did a very nice, I love flowers and birds. These buttons here are from my mom. These are vintage buttons from her button box so many years ago. And the inside cover was very plain. There was no design to it. So I grabbed some paper, my scraps, and I made a couple pockets on the front. And I recently purchased some very pretty, these German packs, the flower packs. There's a gal up in Canada that she will have sales on these. These are little fairies. So I bought quite a few different designs from her for this book, so I can choose the butterflies, lots of flowers, roses. So I'll go through here and decide, what I want to put in the journal here. And this is the pack that I had chosen. These are some lovely roses that I added to the side here. So I want to convert these postcards where I can journal on the back, and then I can just tuck them inside here. This one's a little bit, I put the rose there, but I can put something smaller on this side. And I did the same with the back. They could also they could fit in the back. Quite lovely. I like making all the little side pockets. So these are little journaling pieces that I also made. I stitched around the outside of them, and these would fit very nice inside the pockets here. I could journal on them. I could tuck little photos in or whatever. So I went ahead and I pulled, let me grab these. I went ahead and I pulled some scraps that I thought I might like to use on these. So I pulled a real pretty copper color I thought would be pretty on the back of this, and I pulled a green. I thought that would make that pop. So I'm going to measure these up, and I'm going to cut the backs here. I've never worked in front of anyone So I don't know how this is going to go. Sometimes it takes me a while to make up my mind. So I'm going to do this 5.5 by 3.5. And I'm just going to trim that down just a little bit. I don't mind if the outside, there's a little bit more postcard on the outside, because what I will do, I'm going to go a little bit more, is I do distress everything around the edges just to make it a little bit older. All right, I'm going to bring this side in just a little bit. All right, and that's good for that one. And I think this will probably be the same. 3.5 by about a little shy of 5.5. Let's do it like this. A little bit narrower. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just one of those people where I'm very linear. So I like to square everything up and have the right amount of, this one just doesn't look, I like to have the right amount of space on all sides. All right, so that's good. And I think what I'm going to do also is I have my corner rounder, and I think I'm just going to round, just take a little tiny bit of these corners just to give it a little, there we go. And you know what? I think I'm even going to do this on the postcard, just so it's not so harsh. There, I like that a lot better. All right, so we'll set that one aside. It's an absolutely beautiful day here today. We're outside again trying to get things winterized because we're supposed to be having snow tomorrow. All right, and that one is good. All right, so I know I want to have these for the back, and then I'll play off of these. So I'm just thinking out loud here. I have these little brads. These are little jewel brads. I wouldn't call them brads. They're little jewel findings. And because there's a hole on this side, I want to cover these up. So I think I'm going to put these on first, and then I'll put my paper on so the brad on this side is not poking through. So it will slide in and out of the... My hands aren't like most crafters on here. They have their fingernails all done up, and oh, they've had their manicures and they're all looking pretty, but I can't do that. My nails are always a mess because I'm always doing something. Right now I'm cleaning out my basement and cleaning outside, so I wouldn't be able to keep nails if I tried. All right, so if I have those like that, I can put that on there like that. I think it'll be good. These won't pop through. I'll just have to make sure that they're centered. So maybe what I'll do is, to make sure that they're centered, I'm going to grab a little tiny piece of tape just to put on one end. end here. Get that centered. Just so I'll do it on both sides so it doesn't move when I go and I glue it down. Oh. Okay. And this probably, for some, seems a little tedious, but I just don't want it to be, I don't want it not to be centered, and then, okay. All right, so that'll be good. And I'm not going to, I would normally probably use glue on this, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to use, I'm trying to use up a roll of tape, adhesive. I have a big tape roller, and sometimes I'll get, when I buy the 3M tape, what happens, I might as well do this one now. What happens is they don't roll the tape properly, and I can't put it through my tape roller because the tape is actually on backwards, if that makes any sense. So I don't throw them away because I buy them in bulk to get a better price. It is expensive. So I just use it by hand. All right, so we're going to put these little guys on here. That'll be cute. And I'll put this one on here. I got to do that front of that. I have to do the fronts of the postcards too. I haven't done that yet. I say I worry about the brads. I'm doing it this way. I worry about the brads catching when I put these in a pocket, but I actually have the front. I have the front of these that stick up a little bit, and they'll probably catch, but oh well, maybe not. This one looks pretty centered. Okay. All right, so I have them taped down to the front of this. There was a time that I didn't distress or ink up items, especially when I was first starting scrapbooking. And I go back now and everything, to me, it looks so plain and boring. Okay, so that goes on that side. So this is what I'm talking about with the tape. These are, let me get my tape dispenser. So I have the Scotch Advanced Tape Glider, and you have to ring it around here, string it through. And sometimes when I open up a new box of tape, the sticky is supposed to be, the tape is supposed to be on the outside of this, so as you run it through, it's actually running through this way around here, and then you tape it. But in this case, they did not, they didn't roll it right. So this actually works really well if you have longer pieces. You can just string it out. And I don't like to waste anything. So I just do it like this, and because it's for myself, it doesn't, for me, it doesn't have to be perfect as far as the tape and the glue, and as long as it's adhered. But if I was making one to sell, I'd be much more, careful about it, and a little more meticulous.